Hey, welcome back to Monstar Gaming. I have a little bit of a sore throat, so my voice sounds a little funny, but that's okay. So, I wanted to talk to you guys about this game. To me, it's a new game, but it's actually been out for a little bit. I think it got released globally about 7 months ago, something like that. Um, this is Puzzle Combat. It's made by the same people that make Empires and Puzzles, which you might have seen that I reviewed before. And I'm not gonna say that I rage quit, but I was a little upset in that game, and I ended up leaving um, for a few reasons. And actually, I'm gonna discuss that really quickly to kind of have an introduction to this one. So there's often a lot of games that I play that I might drop for a while and then maybe come back. If they were pretty good. Empires and Puzzles was definitely one of them. It's fun. For what it is, it makes sense. And I love games where you have hero collecting and things like that, and it was fun. But what happens is once you start paying a little bit in the game and start getting things in there, uh, it really changes your perception of the game a little bit because you're paying to get better units, and once you're somewhere, like once you beat like the season one, and you're already in season two, you have a lot of good characters. You've been playing for over a year, so you've had a lot of events under your belt. Obviously, they do come out with new events all the time to try out, which is really cool. So they added a lot of new characters. I think they added season three while I was playing, and I'm pretty sure they have a season four now. But like I said, I haven't played it. I think the last time I played that one was probably about 9 months ago. Um, no, it might have been less than that. I think I played it maybe 5 months ago, 6 months ago, something like that. I'm really losing track of time because I have no clue. I cannot remember how long it was, but it was sometime last year, um, during the pandemic. Of course, I was playing. I got a couple new friends into it, and they got pretty psyched, and we were playing, and it was fun. Um, but I'm competitive. Not that I want to be like in the top, but I want to feel like I'm progressing, feel like I'm doing better, feel like I'm moving up in the ranks a little bit, feel like I have a better team. I have a lot of options. So this roster on this game is pretty nothing because I just started probably a couple days ago. So so like I said, I got very upset in the other game because I was spending a little bit of money. I was participating in the events. I was doing, playing pretty heavily, and every time I spent money, um, I kind of got to the point where I was spending money, and I'm only showing you these screens because they're very similar. Um, but I was spending money because I was trying to get the hero of the month because the majority of the 4 stars and a handful of the 5 stars in the game I already had. And I noticed that once you have a pretty good roster, the units that are a little bit more rare, or a lot more rare actually, because they're only around every now and again, were the heroes of the month. Now the only way to get the hero of the month, oops, let me see if there's a different way to click over here. No, yeah, this looks a little bit different. There we go. So the appearance rates. So the legendary hero of the month was always a very, very small percentage. So you really had to do a bunch of summons. I would say at least 15 to really have a shot in the same month to get the hero of the month. And sometimes you didn't, even with that, you wouldn't be able to do it. So I found myself spending a little bit of money because not that I wanted to get more units, but I was trying to do enough pulls to get the heroes of the month. And I was getting frustrated because, you would get one and then the next month you would struggle. You would still, spend a good amount of money and not get the hero of the month. And a lot of the other units I already had. So I was just getting a lot of duplicates and I was getting a little frustrated. And then they added more to the game. And then they added, what is it called? The Path of Valor, which makes sense. They do that on almost every single game now, where they have these ongoing achievements that you can work on to to get like free goodies, and then if you pay for like a VIP pass or something like that, then you get even better goodies from it. So it was nice. It kept me really busy, but I got more hooked on the collecting of the really good heroes, and I was really paying attention to try to get the people that I really wanted, that you became a little bit more of a chaser of heroes as opposed to anything else. And at that point, it was not fun for me at all anymore because every time I spent money, I was getting duplicates, which is kind of like a waste most of the time. And then, still having trouble maxing out my characters because at that point I had over 100 characters that were pretty solid that I wanted to kind of level up, and it was just taking forever. And then try to get the ones that you really wanted was difficult. Then there was just a ton of monetizing, and it kind of bothered me pretty big time. So that's my little rant. So um, like I said, this game is Puzzle Combat, and it's made by the same people, Small Giant, and I believe they got bought by Zynga in 2019 or 2018. Because they were a cash cow. Like this, the Empires and Puzzles was one of the highest grossing games of this genre. A lot of people spend money on these games, and I wouldn't say it's predatory, but they really like throw the offers in your face. Like every time you open the game, there's tons of offers jumping all over the place. But behind all of that, it is actually a good game. It's very polished. The way that they set everything up makes sense. The storyline is kind of It's like whatever. But most people play it for the alliances and the things that you can do. So you can do like wars against other factions. War Machines, and the other one I think it was giant boss fights, things like that. So let me switch over and go into this game and why I'm talking to you about this game. So I didn't know that this game came out. I was actually looking for another game that was similar to Empires and Puzzles. I've tried a lot of the other ones that are very similar that are trying to copy it, and I didn't like any of them. They felt kind of cheesy. They felt like incomplete. They didn't feel very refined. A lot of the units were honestly just trying to copy what Empires and Puzzles was doing. Um, and then there wasn't a lot of player base. Like the one thing that I really liked about Empires and Puzzles is there was a lot of people playing it. Some people were very, very, very competitive. Some people were not. Alliances came and went, but you'd always be able to find some place to play. And even if it was just you and a couple people, and you started an alliance, by the end of the week, you could probably have another three, four, five people in there. It was pretty nice having all that activity. But if the biggest thing with games like these that are really long, that take a long time to really level up, long time to get your rosters, I had so many units, um, but I was at the point where I was trying to set up like 5-star units, and 5 stars are the highest level units that you can get in the game. So here we can go over here. So like a 5-star, they're crazy strong. Um, so that other game, Empires and Puzzles, is more fantasy based. Everything is mythology. They had stuff with the Vikings. They had stuff with like pirates. A lot of seasonal events. But everything was very fantasy. There were dragons every now and again, um, elves, all kinds of different things like that, which to me was a theme that I really enjoy. So when I heard about this one, it's a theme that I'm not as excited about, but I wanted to try it out. So the theme on this one is basically military. I'll say it's slightly futuristic, I guess, because a lot of the enemies are zombies. Um, so maybe post-apocalyptic slightly. But here, I'm going to show you a matchup here, a simple one here, so you can see kind of how it works. I'll put it on auto, and then I'll explain some of the differences in this game. So you have your team, and you can set up multiple teams. When you start the game, you definitely want to be in a rainbow team. That's the easiest way to get going. That way that you don't have any weaknesses, but you also don't have any extra powerful colors to go off of. And then you can set up your defense team for when you do raids, which is when you go head to head against other players. And then down here you have combat items, which is really nice that you can do. So I'm gonna fight. It takes 3 energy. It is one of those where you have to wait for your energy to recover before you can use it again and go out. So these are zombies and a rat. And then there's 5 colors. On the top left, it shows you what beats what. Um, Kind of like rock, paper, scissors. So you have green, and then blue and then red, and they beat each other in that order. And then there's yellow and purple, which is kind of like light and dark. So we'll give you recommendations on the board, kind of what to do. And on the bottom, you'll see the life health of your units. And if you long press one of them, it will show you their special move, and it'll show you their weapon. In Empires and Puzzles, instead of a weapon, it was troops, and the troops would level up and basically increase your stats and help you that way. In this one, I think this theme in practice, I think makes more sense because majority of them are shooting like weapons and different things like that. In the other game, sometimes you're throwing random things at people, and it's like how would you even damage anybody throwing whatever they were throwing? So this one seems to make a little bit more sense. And then what makes these games fun is when you clear the board, it goes up. It's not like Bejeweled and other games where the board clears down. It actually clears the opposite way. So kind of you have to think about it a little bit more of like what might present itself. So it's like I said, it's super similar to Empires and Puzzles. I'd say it's about 98%, maybe 95%, the exact same thing with a different theme and slightly different artwork because it's a different theme. But there are some differences. I'm going to show you this one. When I make this set here, it makes a grenade. A grenade. When you have a grenade and you pop the grenade, it explodes all of the same color, which is really cool. So that's similar. They had something like that before. Trying to remember what it was. It was like some sort of diamond or something. And then down here, these are flashing when they can do their super move. So I'm going to do silenced weapon, boom. Wave 2 of 3. So all of the actual gameplay is exactly the same. Like the graphics are definitely cleaner on this one. The other game is probably 7 years old or so. So some of the earlier artwork, isn't as nice as some of the current artwork. But that's like any other game. But I think they did a really good job with Empires and Puzzles. That was one of the things that really attracted me to it, was all the characters in that game. The artwork was amazing. If you play like Magic or any other card games because this is technically a card game, because these are cards that are doing their things. It's not actual units like in other games like RPGs. So the card is the most important, visually the most important thing in the game. So if they're attractive, if they look nice, if they're polished, they look unique. To me, that really stands out, and that's one of the reasons why I continued to play that game, is because it was so cool. Like when you got a new character, the artwork was just amazing. And one thing that I can definitely say about Empires and Puzzles is within a week or 2 weeks, I memorized a lot of the units. Like, I don't know if whoever came up with the names for the units, like they just made them perfect. Like they actually looked like the name that they had given them, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense or not. But I remember talking to a friend about the game. They started playing the game with me, and I was like, "Hey, do you have this unit, that unit, and that unit?" And in games like these where there's a lot of units, it's hard to remember sometimes who's who, but it was so easy to remember who this person was, what their skill was, and what they did. And that just shows that they spent time in the game, and they really paid attention to how to design it. So as you can see in this game, every time they connect anything, they're shooting bullets. So I think this one moves a little bit quicker during the battle. You still have food and iron, and then people, and then experience points, and then you have crafting goods here to craft, and then sometimes you find a hero. So I'm just gonna hit replay real quick. Let me see. I'm gonna show you the grenade because I think the animations on this one are much better than in the first game. Not overall, because I think in the first game, when they came out with the game the first year or so, all the graphics, all the animations were kind of similar. So if you were to play right now, you kind of can tell which 4 stars and which 5 stars came out earlier and which ones are actually newer, because it did change a lot of the animations. So I think that's one thing that they focused on this game, is to make all the animations look unique, amongst all the units, and then just freshened it up a little bit. So this is what a grenade looks like. That's awesome. That's awesome. And there's obviously sound and stuff like that, which is really nice too. So the other thing that this game changes, which I'm going to see if I can get one of these combos. That's my healer. Might not be able to get one of those. Oh, here it is. No. That's the grenade again. This girl's awesome. She shoots 6 times. Crazy. So now I have 2 grenades. I could probably get another grenade over there. But you can see that the drawings of the enemies here are actually really nice. So I really appreciate the quality of the all the artwork in this game. It's very, very nice, very refined. So there are definitely some differences in this game. I'm going to go back over here and just show you the weapons. This is what they would equip, versus in Empires and Puzzles they were doing troops. The cool thing with these guys, though, is you can actually dismantle these. You could not dismantle troops in Game 1. So if you were to dismantle the weapons here, you would actually recover basically some goods from them. And these are the good ones. These are very expensive to find and very hard to find, unless you're producing them yourself, but that takes a really long time too. So now I have these 2 units here. I think I have a little bit of food, so I'm going to level her up because she's one of my best units. Let's see if I can max her out at the current level. Perfect. And she is a 3-star, but she starts as a 1, and then later you get her to 2 and then 3 and stuff like that. So I really like her. The map is very similar to the other game, and I've already unlocked Season 2, which is much harder. And they are 20, it looks like 22 stages in this map. So I know I kind of went on a little rant there. I do enjoy this game. I wasn't sure how much I was going to like it, the first playthrough. But I do like that it moves quicker. I like that the weapons, like when you're playing the board, they do seem unique across the board, which makes sense because this is a newer game. It's a little bit more polished. And I mean, even the artwork here is a little bit nicer, definitely, than in the first game for your city. It's definitely a little bit more detail there. And I'm still getting used to the units because they're all people and it seems like so far they're not related to anything. So they're just like made up units. But I think on a lot of the events and things like that, they do pull some characters that you would probably recognize. But it looks like primarily they're people, which is cool. And then they have zombies. I don't remember what Season 2 is about. I think it's like inner city type stuff, units and things like that, and technological units, things like that. But it's really similar to Empires and Puzzles. I know there's some videos out about this game already, but I'm still seeing like a lack of content relative to what I was seeing before. So I'm going to keep playing, and then I'll keep making some videos. And if you guys want to join our alliance, it's called Northern Winds. We do play every day. We're relatively casual, but that could change if we have a pretty good alliance. Because we used to play every day and do events every day and do giant bosses every day and all kinds of stuff. So, but so far I'm enjoying it, and we'll see how it goes. I'm definitely not going to be spending the money that I spent before. Not that I was spending that much, but it just felt like I was spending a lot, So I'm definitely going to manage myself on that and then just kind of take it easy, and then just be cheap to play. But that was just a really quick look. And then hopefully I'll have another video up maybe in another week or maybe on the weekend or something with a little more updates, because I do want to do some more summons and try to get some good units. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thank you.